Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit that sub button as we are only 4 away from our number of 200. And let's get going today. As I was talking with Dolany TV over the past week, and we're talking about the whole who's going to be on the team, who's going to be the extra man, who's going to be on the taxi squad, all that fun stuff going into the season without knowing what actually is going to happen. But like the NHL said, they are gonna do expanded rosters just so no one has to quarantine and stuff if someone gets hurt. So that led me to, you know what, we kind of know the three goalies that would go. It would be Anton Forsberg because we lost Starrett to the Pittsburgh Penguins this offseason. It's going to be Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith. Now you go forward a little bit, you got the defense. Now that's, you know, Klefbom's up. Now, in my scenario, I'm going to say there's 9 defensemen going. That's pretty reasonable considering, you always have 7 no matter what, and usually 8. Like sometimes 8 when you call someone up when someone gets hurt. So 9 gives you that cushion number where, if 2 defensemen go down, you still have your 7th defenseman if needed, and then you might be stuck after if one more gets hurt, but that's when you always look, okay, who's going to be back from injury? Do we need to call someone from the AHL? And, even after that, they still have to quarantine. So let's look into some statistics on, we know the top 6. It's going to be Darnell Nurse, Ethan Bear when he signs that contract. I think they're just waiting on the league to finalize everything so then you could put Klefbom on the LTIR to make cap room. That's probably all they're waiting for, or seeing what other RFAs sign, but it really does come down to when the league says, okay, you can start putting guys on the LTIR. So Ethan Bear, Caleb Jones, Tyson Barrie, Adam Larsson, and Chris Russell. Those 6, are going to be on the team. So let's go look at their stats for last year before we get into the other 3 plus a wild card. There is a wild card in this too. So Nurse last year, 33 points in 71 games. He was only a -2. As bad as, I thought he was last year, you look into his stats, he wasn't actually terrible 5-on-5. At a -2 for a defenseman, pluses are better, but we're talking about the Oilers here. We hardly ever have a plus guy that's a defenseman. So -2 is reasonable, He was on for 35 goals while getting 33 points still. So then we go down to Ethan Bear, his defenseman partner. 21 points in his full rookie season, 71 games, -4. He had 33 penalty minutes, and Nurse had 48. So the penalty minutes are on the upside. But in reality, too, sometimes they have to be taken. Like, even if you guys play NHL 21, for instance, or actual hockey, if it's a 2-on-1 and it looks like the guy's going to score, you're probably going to trip that guy and let your penalty killers do the work for you. So then we leave Ethan Bear and we go down Caleb Jones. He was only a -1, 9 points in 43 games. Pretty good shutdown defenseman with Russell last year. Nothing to complain there. He had 10 penalty minutes. Then we go down to Chris Russell. He has a goose egg in the goal column, but we don't expect Chris Russell to actually score. He had 9 points in 55 games with 14 penalty minutes. He was a plus-minus of 0. Adam Larsson had 6 points in 49 games. He was a plus-minus of 0 and 35 penalty minutes. Then we keep going, and that is it for all the 6 defensemen that we know. Sorry, I'm all stuffed up here. My voice sounds funny. Now we go to, the 7th defenseman. We all know this is probably going to be, well, if it was an actual season, it would have been toss-up, but the 7th and 8th defensemen are pretty obvious. So the 7th defenseman for me is Evan Bouchard. You know, he's been lights out over in the Swedish league there. I think he's at his potential to become like a Ethan Bear, you know, come in the league, surprise everyone how Ethan Bear did at the start of last season. No one expected actually Ethan Bear to do that, but and same with Yamamoto, just came out of nowhere. So they're so done. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Sorry, I drew a blank. So looking at Evan Bouchard's stats for the Sauter Tally SK when he was on loan, he's already on his way back. He's probably back in Edmonton now in quarantine. 17 points in 23 games. The number that sticks out to me is the 76 penalty minutes, but over in the Sweden league, it is hard to not take a penalty. It's like the AJHL over there. Sorry, I just woke up like an hour ago. It is hard not to take a penalty in that league. You are playing guys that range from 18 to 29, roughly. There's some older guys over there, and you know, being a 21-year-old or 20-year-old, it's hard to go into that environment and actually produce like Evan Bouchard was doing over there. Now, the number 8 defenseman is William Lagasson. Lagasson played pretty good hockey last season, you know. He had 8 games played, but the 8 games he was up in Edmonton, he was stellar. There were some spots in his game that, you know, could improve. He went back down to Bakersfield. He had 10 points in 25 games, you know, 18 penalty minutes. He then, for the 2021 season, he actually played on 2 teams in the Swedish league. It was kind of funny because he played for the HC Vita Hastin of the Swedish league. He had 9 points in 11 games, 10 penalty minutes. Then the Oilers go off, and this team's like, can you loan him to us? So then the Oilers loaned him to the Kristianstads IK, and the first game he played with them was against Vita Hastin, which is kind of funny. But with Kristianstads, I know I'm probably messing these names up. He had 3 points in 3 games, 2 penalty minutes. You know, he was playing second, third line minutes for defensemen. Sorry, I'm just tired. He was playing second, third line minutes for defensemen over there. It's not bad producing. He gets my 8th starter job. Now, this one might be a wild card, or off the books. This isn't my wild card, but since the news broke yesterday that Joakim Nygard and Theodore Lindstrom were recalled from their loans to come back to Edmonton, he gets my number 9 nod, Theodore Lindstrom. He's been playing in the Swedish league, in the Hockey Allsvenskan. I call that the Swedish league still, and he's been playing in the SHL. He's been playing pretty much all Swedish hockey his whole career. And this year he was on loan to Frölunda HC. He had 8 points in 18 games, 8 penalty minutes. Last season he played for them permanently, 15 points in 31 games, 10 penalty minutes. He's a shutdown defender. He's a left-handed shot. And I believe he can help the Edmonton Oilers, you know. He's a two-way defenseman. You don't see many two-way defensemen anymore. They're all considered, you know, puck-moving defensemen, offense or defense. But this guy is good at everything. He doesn't have that super trait like how great he is with one thing and how he sucks with the other. All around good player. He gets my number 9 nod. Now, I did say at the start of the video there's a wild card. And you guys should know it. It's Philip Proberg. Yes, Ken Holland, before everything happened, before everything was finalized with this season, before we even knew we had a season, he said it's more than likely Philip Proberg will stay in Sweden. But Proberg is back in Alberta. I believe he's actually back in Edmonton with his Swedish team for the World Juniors. Now, my thought about this is, what if he shines for the World Junior team? Now, say, like last year, he had 1 point in 7 games plus 4, but he was a really shut down defenseman in that game. Now, he's playing for Skelfetti AIK of the SHL. He has 8 points in 23 games, 6 penalty minutes. That's the highest Swiss league out there. Now, what if he comes in to this World Juniors and is like, you know what, I need to make a case for me to be in Edmonton this year. Let's go out, and he scores, 3 goals, has 10 assists, 13 points in 7 games. What then changes in Ken Holland's mind? Look, this guy's in Alberta. He doesn't have to quarantine. He could go, because they are quarantined before they play these games for the World Juniors. Now, as you see, Tyson Barrie puts the puck in his own net, but he doesn't have to quarantine. If you're Ken Holland, do you call his team he's loaned to and be like, look, can he stay here for a bit longer? I just want to see how he gels with the guys. Or do you just plain out recall him from his loan and then send him back to the SHL when you know what's happening? Because Philip Proberg and Evan Bouchard is the future of this defense, along with possibly Ethan Bear and Caleb Jones, depending on how the expansion draft goes. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe that these two are our first line defensemen in the NHL for years to come. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay safe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.